has different hairs and better makeup. So I'm like, oh, remember when Caitlin's Planet was a thing and she like came back on the show and she had like a director fiance and it was like a weird time for everyone.
Back when she still cared about the environment.
Back when she still cared.
Yeah.
Like a
period.
scene where like she makes them like sign each one individually. Could you sign the DVD? This one.
Just like slowly handing her every single disc.
Take this one out to Silent Bob.
I swear I'm your biggest fan.
I think he does even say, like, I told you, I'm creepy. I have your DVDs right here.
I mean, he's not wrong.
It's like, at least he recognizes it, but it doesn't make it that much better.
So Caitlin is interviewing Kevin Smith, and I just wrote, how is any of this interview usable? Because, like, all he's doing is hitting on her openly, and she's, like, laughing. I'm like, who is going to watch this?
Nobody. And Tomas, her boss, is like, no, we need something juicy. We need, like, we need something dishy.
Okay, so here's the thing about Tomas, is that his character has done a complete 180 since the last time we saw him. Because the last time we saw him was, I think, the last, like, mid-season finale.
Was it Holiday?
Yeah, it was Holiday. And he was, like, was encouraging her to go to, like, Africa for a year to do this, like, hard-hitting, like, AIDS story. And he was, like, really, like, supportive and, like, go live your dream, do this thing for us. We're going to change the world. And now he's like, I want Bennifer. Like, what the fuck happened, Tomas?
Oh, remember Bennifer, though?
Yeah, Bennifer 2.0 is now over.
Yeah.
But Bennifer made an appearance in Jersey Girl, didn't they?
Yeah, of course they did. But they broke up mid-Jersey Girl, so they cut out most of her stuff. I know a lot of stuff about Jersey Girl.
Imagine the movie that could have been.
She was... I don't know what was the worst thing about that movie. It might have been J-Lo.
The lack of Jennifer.
Yeah.
We needed
That's
more
not a
Jennifer.
very good movie. It's a good cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a good movie.
I mean, I'll watch Liv do anything, but it was rough.
Yeah,
It
and
was really, really sentimental. Like, really sappy. It was weird for a Kevin Smith movie.
He went off book, and maybe he shouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
well, in this movie, while they're filming in the hallways, Jay is hitting on Manny, who is a child, and he hangs out with Ellie and Silent Bob throughout the entire movie.
Which, frankly, I would watch a movie just about Jay and Silent Bob and Ellie hanging out. Like, I would not watch this movie because this movie looks terrible, but I would watch, like, their, like, buddy comedy.
And there's so many Canada puns. Like, Jay is like, she's the sugar to my maple, the cheese to my poutine. And then Ellie's like, the ick to my pathetic.
Because, duh.
It's I kind of love it, even though I know it's really bad.
It was some good teen writing.
Because teen shows. That's why.
Yeah, pretty much. I loved all of the, like, weird background Canada, like, cliches. Like, there were regularly, like, Mounties and, like, just, like, mooses, like, just in the background happening. I was like, there's a lot going on.
And I think at one point, Kevin Smith is like, I love the Canadian flag. I want it in every shot. Jay loves it, too, or at least he did before he realized that it was just a maple leaf and not another kind of leaf.
Oh.
Dedum.
Like when they're in the cafeteria and they just casually pour maple syrup on all their meals, regardless of what it is.
And then this is about the time that we realized the Dot is catering, which I didn't know the Dot catered.
I didn't know they had those kinds of resources.
I didn't either. I'm still pretty sure they don't.
Especially because it's Spinner and Jay. They're the only two people working the catering station, which just sounds like a bad idea.
And the Dot is like a burger joint. Like it's not like film catering. Like
it's not crafty.
No. And, like, they're talking about the options, and it's, like, prime rib and, like, something else. I'm like, what is happening?
Oh, yeah, and while they're catering, Craig is like, I don't want to eat anything from you, Spinner. Oh, because backstory, for those of you who don't know, there was a school shooting earlier in this season, and it was because a kid got bullied because it's a long story, but one of the guys in the hairnets bullied him so much and ended up kind of leading to Drake getting shot, so everybody hates him now.
Is that why he's in the wheelchair?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Because I watched the episode before this, and I knew Drake was on the show, but I didn't know how much he was in it because I remember, I guess, in the episode prior to this, not to get too off topic, I know that one girl gets dropped while they're doing their cheerleading routine. So she gets escorted to their dance in the back of a van, and she gets lowered, but you see Drake in the background, like, oh my God, Drake! Like, every time he would pop up, like, even in this episode, like, as soon as he popped up, because he just sort of appears, like, they don't really give him any sort of fanfare or anything. You're like, oh my God, Drake!
Did he get one dance at the dance?
I mean, they used to call
All
it.
we
He
need
was the prom king at the dance, I believe, in the last
He
episode.
didn't go on stage. He just kind of smiled.
nice-
That was it.
I want to go to Degrassi.
Don't we all? Drake is actually a fairly prominent character, but the thing with like the main characters is that there are so many of them that there will just be long stretches where you just won't see anyone. Although Emma makes like a very brief cameo where you just see her face and like throwing a hat
up
in
the
the air.
graduation cap. Yeah, they're like every character on Degrassi is a main character, so they kind of have to like cycle through like when people get to be the center of attention on the episodes.
Wow.
So Drake was on this episode, but he was like eating food with Craig, and he throws French fries at him, and he's like, "Hey man, you can't throw French fries at the kid in the wheelchair," and that was kind of his only appearance.
And
But
then
yeah,
he
so
off to the sunset.
He collected his money, started making music.
he starts his rap career on this show for the like towards
He
the end
also
of
learned
his
to walk
time
again.
is when he gets like really into rapping, and we're all like, "Oh wait, he's good at this," and then he fell off the face of the earth.
Hey, wait a minute. He knows what he's doing.
And then
Is that
Tom,
how he
like-
got his start? Like, was someone just watching Degrassi? Like, was Dr. Dre watching Degrassi?
Oh my God. Next
done.
guy.
And he's just like, oh, shit.
I
Not
hope that's how it happened.
Baby was wild.
Jay's talking about his big scary knife, which isn't that big or scary. And then we have Goth Ellie.
So Craig has a conversation with Kevin Smith, and he basically convinces Craig to follow Ashley to London. And he's like, okay, yes, I can do that. I will do that. And he comes up with a plan to go to music school in London and follow Ashley.
Craig is very susceptible to like any suggestions. He'll just be like, sure, I'll do that thing. Also, Ellie calls him Morrissey, which feels appropriate. And
I like how... Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was just going to talk about how Jay won't stop hitting on teenagers, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Look, I like the episode beforehand because I know that him and Ashley have that band, and I liked that reference where it's like, I want you to sound like Husker Du meets the Meat Puppets. So, like, I listen to bands like that. So, like, oh, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's all I'd say.
We talked about that in the last episode because I was surprised that, like, Craig, who was like, I know all the music things, like, doesn't know who the Meat Puppets are. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
They're like the ultimate alt couple, but they don't really put a lot of research into their image. They just like, it's like Ashley who's like, I'm going to be this kind of person now. And that's kind of, they just kind of go with it.
She just changes with the wind sometimes. Jay won't stop hitting on teenagers in life or in the movie, which I find to be alarming, but somehow less creepy than Paige's relationship with Mr. O.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, one of the students had an affair with a student teacher, and it was really creepy.
Oh, scandalous.
Oh, God.
It was very scandalous, and it was extremely creepy.
Extremely. So then I think Caitlin is editing her footage, and Kevin Smith is talking about how more Americans saw Shrek 2 last year than voted in the election. And
Yeah.
it's just like, there's so many like 2004 election references in this episode. I don't really know why, because I think this episode came out. It must have been like 6 months after the inauguration or something.
Mhm.
And
I loved that
8
Sweet Shrek
months
2
after
reference.
two.
All those timely Shrek 2 references.
Shrek is
American
love, Shrek is
classic.
life.
Is that like a big hit in Canada, Shrek? I mean, Mike Myers is from Canada. All
I would assume it would be.
And this is, I think, when Tomas is like, I need the dish.
Which is like, Tomas, what have you become? He's just changed so much. And he mentions Benifer, which is always a good time. But one of my notes is, I used to like Caitlin's boss, ?
And then she goes home and talks to Joey, and apparently she got an offer to go have Caitlin's planet be a thing again in Los Angeles, but she's like, but obviously I can't go because I have a family here. And Joey's like, yeah, too bad. It was nice they offered. Womp, womp, womp. Bye.
I sold 2 cars today.
2 SUVs. Yeah.
Poor Joey. And I was just like, I mean, they're not married. They're like, they haven't even been together for that long. I'm like, Caitlin, take the job. But also, I'm dead inside, so what do I know?
Oh, fair enough.
It seems like all good.
I was gonna say it seems very weird that Kevin Smith spends most of the time saying how he is very anti-Hollywood and he's very like self-deprecating, and yet he's also able to instantly call in a favor to get like a 20-year-old show instantly brought back. It's really
Remember
weird.
that Kevin Smith is playing God in this episode.
He cast himself as God.
He casts himself as someone who gets to make out with his childhood.
It's because he's God that he's able to do
I
it.
felt like Caitlin seemed to be all over the place in this episode, though, or in this 2-episode arc, because, you know, one minute she's with Joey, she's happy, next minute she's getting drinks with Kevin Smith, they make out, next minute, let's get married, Joey, and then, oh, never mind, let's not get married. All in the span of like 40 minutes.
Poor Joey.
These 2 episodes are a roller coaster. And I think we should agree on that.
Yeah.
It's a real, like,
It's all over the emotional spectrum.
Yeah.
you know, her
Caitlin
Joey
is just
and Kevin
spiraling.
She is. She's spiraling for sure. And she does have like a sweet, like, pseudo stepmom but friend moment with Craig, because the thing is that she like is always the fun parent,
Yeah.
which has been addressed previously. So she's like, you should run away to London, do it, I'll convince Joey with you, which feels inappropriate because she's like not even really his fake mother. She's just like his stepdad's girlfriend.
She's the living fun adult.
She's literally his friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is his friend.
Why is Craig's life so complicated?
Craig
really
really just can't catch a break.
Like, Joey just blames her for everything. He was like,
Yeah.
it's your fault he's missing, which it is. It's your fault, period. And I guess that's why she was like, we probably shouldn't be together anymore. I don't like you.
Yeah, and I still blame Kevin Smith for this entire storyline and their relationship falling apart, because he totally came in and was like, all right, so I'm going to be on this show. It's going to be so big that I have constant media coverage of my behind the scenes of this movie. I'm going to get the girl that I want. And so, wait, she's dating someone on the show? Okay, that doesn't matter. We're just going to make it so she loves me more than the man she's been dating for a couple years. It's going to be fine. It's going to be cool.
No Kevin Smith movie in his prime would get that constant media coverage.
Seriously, although it is maybe the biggest thing to ever happen at Degrassi.
That's
Like,
true.
best.
Yeah.
It was a dream come true for him. He was like,
Well,
oh, can I
they
just do
even-
it any way I want that?
They even poke fun at it because I guess Caitlin makes a dig at him at one point that he's like a D-list celebrity, and Jay
Yeah.
was like, well, I'm like C-list.
Yeah.
Well, no, he makes a dig at himself with that because
He
he
makes
told
a dig at himself this whole episode.
Yeah,
That's
he's telling her, he's like, you're better than, like, it's beneath you. You shouldn't be all like on like
Well-
D-list celebrities. And she's like you, and he's like, well,
That's his
It's
shtick.
like, yeah, kind of.
Self-deprecating, but
Yeah.
if you insult him, it's like, what? No, like, you
yeah.
can't insult me. Oh yeah, I can insult me.
yeah.
The longer this episode goes on, he keeps lowering like what grade celebrity he is, like every single time he mentions it, and by the end he literally says like grade Z celebrity. Like he just keeps moving it down more every time. And I'm
So
like,
maybe-
at a certain point you're just a person.
yeah.
If I saw you on the street, I'd perk up for like a second, like, oh.
I recognize you.
So Caitlin and Craig try to have a conversation with Joey to convince him to let Craig go to London by himself. The 16-year-old who is very recently diagnosed with a mental illness and maybe shouldn't be leaving home right away.
Yeah, I feel like all of Joey's points were super valid, and they're like, you're being the bad guy here. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, he's just being a good parent.
He's just concerned for his stepson's well-being.
Well, Craig is being a snot at that moment. He's just, what, because I got emotional problems. Like, that's
It's
it.
like, yeah.
It's like, you're just going right for the jugular, man.
It's like, yes, first
Yeah.
of all.
Like,
But Joey wasn't being a rude dude about it.
No.
He was literally just like, I don't think you should be going. You've recently just been diagnosed. You're
I don't
gonna
even
go
think
to
he
medicine.
said. He just said, "I'm not comfortable with you going." He didn't
Yeah.
even. This is never happening.
Yeah.
Not on my life. Like he just said, "I'm not comfortable
And
with this." Like
the rest of them just cranked it up to 11.
yeah, he wanted to open a dialogue, and they were like, "No, it's this or we hate you."